Okay, for this video, I'm going to walk through the process of setting up a new song in ProPresenter. I realize that can be a little bit challenging, and I want to make it as easy as possible for you to do it. So I'm on my personal laptop, so things may look a little bit different, and you may notice that there's little question marks on some of this stuff. I did not import all of the media because that's such a big file, but I do have all of the themes and fonts and stuff, so I'll be able to make it work. So as far as dragging in backgrounds and stuff like that, you already know how to do that, so I'm not going to go through that for this video. Okay, so let's say that the band has picked a song that we don't have yet, a new song that we need to import. So we're going to go up here to File, and we're going to hit Import, and then Song Select by CCLI is usually the easiest thing that we can do, assuming it's something that is in CCLI. So let's say that they decided to start doing the song Great Are You Lord, which is one of the most popular songs right now. Yeah, so I know that that's the right song. So I'll look at them when I do my search. First off, you need to make sure that this icon is selected. That is the Song Select icon. It should be if you click Import from Song Select. But you'll notice that there's a few songs that pull up, so you want to double check. If you hover your mouse over the song, it will show you a section of the lyrics there, and you can double check that. You can also double check the CCLI number, which is the song number. So if they've given you a chord sheet or a lyric sheet or something to check, you can check that number with them on the bottom of the chart to make sure it's the right one. So once we know we've got the right one, we're going to hit Import down here at the bottom. Actually, sorry, that's showing us that we can hit the return key to import. So we'll just do that, and it's going to bring up this little import thing. Now, these are the default settings that I usually use, so you'll want to take a note of these. I like the slides to be delimited by line break, and I like to do 2 per slide. You can see on this America the Beautiful that I've got back here, usually 2 to 3 is where I like to go, sometimes 4 if the phrasing just makes sense for that, but usually I'll do 2 per slide. You want it to be 1920 by 1080, and then your theme here, you can just pick whatever theme you want to use. The one that I most commonly use is this one that says PHCC line lyrics, and if you select that, it's going to give you all the ones that are within that theme, and I use the line with bar the most. That's kind of my default one. So that's the one that I like to use. There are a lot of other great themes in there, though. You can check out. Any of them that say PHCC are the ones that I built. The other ones came from Church Motion Graphics or wherever else I was able to find free stuff from. Library, you're going to want to put this in the default library. That's where I have everything else. And then for playlists, you can actually go ahead and drop it into the Crossroads playlist. If this is a song that you're doing this week, then go ahead and drop it in that Crossroads playlist. That way you can just drag it up into the right spot. You don't have to go hunting for it later on. Okay, so then I'm going to hit Import, and it's going to build my little song. Now, this is a song with not very many lyrics, so this is a good one to pick. It's very short. It just has a verse, a chorus, and a bridge. So that makes things a little bit easier for us. So there's a few things that we need to do to make this look like how I've been doing it. So the rest of this stuff is really kind of optional. It's just what I've been doing to make it look right for us. So the first thing that I'll do is I'll kind of look at this phrasing and see if these make sense. And there's a couple of ways that we can fix this. For instance, the second line, the second slide of the chorus, I know this song pretty well, and I know how the phrasing works. So it actually, I think, makes more sense to do the line break at every. And this will also give me a chance to talk about this. I don't particularly like whenever we shorten it, even though technically every is 3 syllables and they sing it in 2. I like to just put the right word in there because I think it's easier for the congregation. So it's okay to have 3 lines on this one. I just don't like where the lines are broken. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this, and up here at Reflow, that's going to show me how the slides are lined out. So I'm not doing any visual editing or anything like that. This is just how the slides are broken down on each one. So what I'm going to do is I like you give hope, you restore, and then I want every heart that is broken to be its own line. So I'm just going to, and I'll talk you through the what I hit on the keyboard there. So place the cursor in front of the E on every, and then just hit the return button. Or if you're on a PC, you can hit the enter button. And then I'm going to go ahead and make that just a regular every. And I think that looks a lot cleaner. If you look at the slide over here, I think that does look a little bit cleaner. Those are fine. And I'm going to go ahead and split that up. I generally don't like them to have just one line on them. All right, so when we get to the bridge, things are broken out a little weird. You notice that it kind of ducked the word praise down there by itself. So that's all in one line, but it looks better, I think, if we go ahead and clean it up like that. And I think we can actually split this into 2 slides. I don't think it's too fast for the operator to be able to do it. So what I'm going to do is click on the above hour, in front of hour, and I'm going to hold Option and Return, and that's going to break it into a new slide. And if you notice over here, a whole new slide appeared, and over here it dropped it down into slide 7. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually okay with, I don't ever put repeat on there because we're actually going to physically have the slides repeat. So I'm going to back that up so that those are 3 slides there, or 3 lines there in that slide. Okay, and I think that's kind of where I want it to look as far as the reflow editor goes. So now I'm going to go over to Edit. And this gives us kind of a bigger view of each slide. And we could do all of that same editing here if we needed to, but it involves copying and pasting and creating new slides and stuff. And I just rather use the reflow screen because it's easier. It kind of automates all of that. Now, one thing that we need to do, you'll notice over here on this right panel that we've got our copyright information here. There is a way for ProPresenter to show that copyright information on the screen. I don't like how they format it, so I just turn that off. So one of the first things that I do is go over here where it says show on screen and just uncheck that box because we don't need it. We're going to do our own copyright page that shows it in a format that I think is a little bit better. I think there's a way to fix the formatting on it, but I haven't learned how to do that yet. So what we need to do is we need to add a title slide and the copyright slide to this. So we've got, what I usually do is I grab the first slide of the lyrics, and then I hit this little bitty plus sign right here next to the title of the song. And I'm going to create a new slide for the title, and the most common one I use is the PHCC title theme, and I like song title with bar. Looks like that, but notice that it dropped it in the middle of our verse here, and obviously we don't want it there. So I'm going to grab that slide, and I'm actually going to drag it outside of the verse, so you can barely see on that top left that I've drug it above where it says verse, so it's kind of created its own new group there, and that's going to help us out a little bit later. So then we just need to edit the text in here. So the name of the song is Great Are You, Lord. And for the authors, for the composers, what I can do, we were clicked on this text box to edit it, right? And that copyright stuff went away when we were there. So what we need to do is we need to click on the background somewhere to bring it back. And then I'm going to grab these authors and notice that it does go on to another line there, so you need to make sure that you select all of that. The easiest way to do that is to just click in there and hit Command All or Command A to select everything, and then hit Command C to copy. And then I'm going to click on this smaller text, and I'm going to hit Command or Shift Option Command V. And that is what pastes in and makes it look the same. Now, this is just a formatting thing for me that I like to do. I don't like the commas, so I will delete the comma, and then I'll put in this just a straight line, which is right below the delete key. If you hold shift and then hit that button right below the delete key, it will do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring Leslie Jordan down to its own line. Here we go. That's just a formatting thing that I like to do. You format it however you want. Now, if we click on this, if you see this little purple box, that means that the text is too big for the box. So we need to actually change that. What I do is expand to fit text. And it didn't do much there, but it does keep us from having to look at an error box later on. So that looks pretty good for the title. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, and we're going to add our copyright slide. So I'm going to select the last slide and then go to this. And we'll have to back out of that, and we'll have to find our PHCC copyright. It's right there. And then new template. I apparently never titled that one. And notice that it darkens up the background. It's not actually fully black. It just has a slightly opaque rectangle on it. And if you want to, you can loosen that up a little bit so it's not quite so dark. But I just think it makes the words pop up a little bit more. They're smaller words, so I added that darkness there to make them show up a little bit more so that we could actually see it on the screen for legal purposes and all that stuff. Okay, so to get the copyright information, since we're not pulling it from here, we actually need to pull it from Song Select. So we're going to go over to a web browser. Whatever web browser you're using, Chrome is fine. And we're just going to go to songselect.ccli.com and log in. And you should have that login information on the technical sheet. And then just search for the song. So we're going to search for Great Are You, Lord. And we know that it is the one that is by David Leonard, Jason Ingram, and Leslie Jordan. So we're going to click on that one. And then we're going to go here to where it says lyrics. And at the bottom of this page, you'll notice that it's got all of this copyright information. And that's what I like to grab and send over. So I'm going to select all of this copyright information, and I'm going to hit Command-C. I'm going to go back to ProPresenter. And again, I'm going to paste and match style. But instead of using Shift, Option, Command-V, I'm going to show you the other way to do that. If you go up here to Edit, and then down to paste, you can see where it says paste and match style. And all these little icons are the icons for Shift Command. So the funny little clover looking thing is Command, the up arrow is Shift, and then that is Option. So Option, Shift, Command V will do that. But you can just hit paste and match style, and it pops it in there like that. I like to space this out a little bit. Again, that's just my personal preference. Do whatever you want. I just like to go ahead and have a little bit of space in there. I think it looks a little cleaner. And we're good. So this is all the copyright information that we have to show on the screen. We probably could get away with just putting the CCLI song number on there, but as a composer, I like to make sure that credit is given where credit is due. Okay. So now, one of the only issues that we've run into since we did this is that this copyright information is now showing up as part of the bridge, and that's not how we're going to perform this song. So we need to change that. So to change that grouping, we're going to go back to Show, and you can see with all the different colors how things are grouped. That makes things nice and handy. So the first thing we need to do is get this copyright one away from the bridge. We don't want it to be part of the bridge. So we're going to grab it. We're going to right click. We're going to go down to Group. And I usually call that the outro, because we don't usually have an actual outro to the song. Or I'll just label it something else if we do. And then up here, we're going to do the same thing with the title. I usually call this the intro. And I think we could probably actually make grouping for title and copyright. I just never got around to doing it, so it's not there. Okay, so we've got our stuff set up pretty well right now. The next thing that we need to do is get the order of the song to be correct. And ProPresenter, one of the beautiful things about ProPresenter is that you don't have to worry about copying and pasting slides and stuff like that. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Arrangement right here. This is the arrangement view. And this allows us to drag in all of these. Notice that the colors match. We can drag in all of these spots to reorder it and move them around. So we're going to do the drop down menu. We're going to hit new arrangement. And I usually call it default so that we know this is the way that we normally perform it. Now, we don't perform this song, so I'm just going to make it up for this one. I'll do kind of a standard one. So let's say we're going to go verse, chorus, probably do the verse again, do the chorus again, do the bridge, we'll repeat the bridge, and then do the chorus one more time at the end. We might do the chorus twice at the end. You know, that's kind of our standard format for how we do most songs. But again, you know, talk to a member of the band and have them write out the order for you, and that will help a lot. Okay, so now make sure that you're editing, of course, where you're moving things around, that you're doing it on this bottom row here. This top row, you don't want to move that around. But we've got all of our order down here on the bottom row. And then we can go ahead and just close out of that arranger view. And you notice that it automatically copied in all of the slides where we need to have them. Okay. The very last thing that we need to do is our macros. So these macros are set up to where whenever you click on the verse, it automatically sends the right theme over to the live stream. Okay. I did all that stuff on the back end. That's a pretty complicated set up, so you don't have to worry about that now. So it's probably by default this panel is set on whatever your themes are, where you can see all of the songs. So if you look here, you've got all these different icons. So the macros are this icon here, that's the M in brackets. And notice I've got a bunch of macros made. So I have one already made for song title, lyric starts, and copyright. So I'm going to grab song title and just drag it onto the song title. Notice it puts that little white M there. And then I'm going to grab lyric start, and I'm going to just the first slide of the lyrics. I'm going to put that there, and it's important that that's the first slide of the lyrics. And then we're going to go down to our copyright slide, and we're going to drag the copyright macro over there. All right, so that should do it for making a new song. Once you have all that in, all you have to do is drag in your backgrounds, however you want those to look, and you already know how to do that, so I'm not going to go over that here. I'll also type out a sheet with all these instructions in it, so if you have any questions, though, please feel free to give me a call. Otherwise, I will talk to you later on. Bye.